For 14 billion years, the universe has followed one relentless rule. It builds complex structures out of simple elements. Jump forward to roughly 6 million years ago. As the Earth's environment violently shifted, the very first hominids stepped out onto the African savanna. Physically, early human species like Homo erectus and Neanderthals were slow, lacked natural armor, and had to share the landscape with massive, highly specialized apex predators. Based purely on their biology, our ancestors had no distinct advantage. They were just one of millions of fragile species struggling to avoid extinction. Humans bypassed the limitations of their local environments by developing language to share abstract ideas, the foundation of what we call a core story. Other animals learn from their surroundings, but that knowledge dies with the individual. Humans pass instructions across generations, accumulating information over time. As groups interacted, their knowledge overlapped, combining into unified communities working toward common goals. This invisible network of shared ideas operated as an evolutionary hack. It allowed us to pool our mental resources and invent the engine that would guarantee our dominance on Earth: civilization. By 4000 BCE, in the city of Uruk, shared knowledge allowed humans to stop chasing their food and start cultivating it. The invention of the simple hand mill allowed the people to process tough cereal grains into flour, creating a reliable way to store vast amounts of caloric energy. But this new lifestyle exacted a strict physical toll. Early farmers actually shrank in average height, and their bones showed severe stress fractures compared to the hunter-gatherers who came before them. We traded the athletic vitality of the wild for the safety, stability, and immense population growth that agriculture could provide. In the Indus Valley around 3300 BCE, that population growth reached new extremes, with upwards of 50,000 people living packed closely together. Living in such tight proximity created an ideal breeding ground for an invisible predator, communicable disease, and massive amounts of human waste. To survive this density, the population pooled its engineering knowledge to construct complex, covered drains and underground plumbing systems beneath their streets. Civilization had become so successful at producing humans that we now required advanced collective problem-solving simply to survive the lethal side effects of our own density. If early plumbing organized the living, the core stories of ancient Egypt were used to organize the dead. The entire culture united around a highly specific religious belief that their pharaoh required an elaborate passage into the afterlife to maintain cosmic order. To ensure that passage, tens of thousands of workers mobilized over 20-year periods to quarry, transport, and stack millions of stone blocks into the pyramids of Giza. The pyramids stand as proof that a shared human myth possesses the raw power to manifest as monumental physical reality. By 2100 BCE, agricultural societies in China faced an entirely different existential threat: the frequent and catastrophic flooding of the Yellow River. According to historical tradition, a leader named Yu the Great organized multi-generational labor forces to tackle the floodwaters head-on. Rather than fleeing the water, they constructed extensive systems of levees, dikes, and diversion channels to control the river's path. Taming the Yellow River marked a clear turning point. Armed with shared knowledge, humanity stopped adapting to the Earth and started forcing the Earth to adapt to us. Over the next few millennia, these isolated pockets of civilization in Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, Egypt, and China began to slowly bleed into one another. Expanding trade routes and military conquests forced competing core stories to overlap, compounding our technological and structural knowledge at an accelerating rate. The entirety of human history is essentially the story of these invisible networks, getting larger, faster, and more tightly unified. Just 200 years ago, we discovered how to extract the colossal energy locked inside fossil fuels, pouring the ultimate accelerant into our civilizational engine. This energy boom pushed our population to 8 billion and initiated the Anthropocene epoch, a geological period defined by humans acting as the primary driver of physical change on the planet. Today, our shared network spans every continent, operating 24 hours a day to connect nearly every mind on Earth. Humanity has spent 10,000 years using shared stories to reshape the Earth's physical systems, from drainage trenches in the Indus Valley to levees on the Yellow River. Today, the quality of our global coordination determines whether those systems remain stable enough to support the future we are currently writing.